Welcome back to the Joust About Careers Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Bratt, and I'm a career advisor and English teacher at Buren High School. I've seen too many people spend a lot of money and time working toward careers they don't enjoy or don't help them achieve the purposes they've identified for their lives. I want to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone else, whether it's a high schooler or someone approaching retirement. Today's episode features the 10-minute highlights of my interview with Brooke Nissen, the Executive Director of Focus Recovery and Wellness Community. The highlights include what Brooke does as an Executive Director, the other careers she considered and had before landing where she is now, how she deals with stress, and much more. If these highlights make you want to learn more about Brooke's career journey, check out the full interview and enjoy the show.
My day today is really, it's hard to describe because I'm in a lot of meetings, but also at a drop of a dime, like there could be something going on in my facility that I need to stop and respond to that situation, or I have a team member who needs me in the moment, so I respond to them. So I do prioritize though that my participants and my staff come first and things like that. But day-to-day activity is a lot of, one thing I didn't know was budgeting. Did not go to school for math. And so, yeah, that became a whole nother huge learning curve for myself, which I love to learn, so it works out. But a lot of the Focus Executive Director is around human resources and managing your budget for your facilities. I went to BGSU, go Falcons, for all those Ziggy Zumba fans. And I decided, first I did start off in nursing. And again, science and math, nope, not for me. So I found my niche though with criminal justice. I fell in love with my intro course and the philosophies. So I really dove into that, and I decided to do that extra lap and get my master's degree. Because again, it was a passion that I started to really develop around criminal justice. And probably like a lot of college kids, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So I started working community corrections. And that led me though into the corrections department at Wood County Sheriff's Office. And so I became deputized by being a correctional officer there. And I did that for about a year. And then it led me down this path to treatment work. So I am thankful though for having the time I spent with law enforcement, working as a corrections deputy, because I got to work with a lot of great officers. I got to learn the ins and outs of the processes that they have to go through. And then I had it kind of then on the other side of working in corrections with that. I flirted kind of with the idea when I first picked nursing. This was in high school, because I had an uncle who had addiction struggles, and he had been justice involved, and it made me reflect back on a time that I had law enforcement come to my house before due to his involvement. And so I've always had this respect. And so and social service fields were always attractive to me. So that's what kind of made me do the dive to try that intro course, and it worked out really well. I was fortunate at Family Resource Center. We did a personality index survey, and I've never taken one that's been so accurate in my entire life to describe me, because it gives results, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was great. And it identified my personality index as a collaborator. And so I recognize that that is a must, that you need to be able to work with others, foster teamwork in an environment, because in order for things to move along, trying to take it all on your own is not something that you can do. And I also think another big quality is having empathy. I said we work with people, and our staff are people, and they need to have that as well. So I think that's another big one. stress is real. And so having a support system is huge to be able to talk to, and also developing a close personal relationship in the work environment with your supervisor is also very helpful, because you have to have that person to talk to, especially when you're evaluating that, so they can help you also in that moment. I've also run 3 half marathons, so running is a big stress relief of mine. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I found that worked for me, especially when I knew the more stressed I was, the farther I was running. So I'm finding myself running again, which is absolutely great, because it's a warning sign for myself that I'm not taking care of myself when I stop them. So as I mentioned briefly, I had worked my way up to a program manager role, doing cognitive behavioral therapy work, because that was at my license level, which was a chemical dependency counselor assistant. It's your very basic level when you start off working with addiction work. So I earned that by doing 40 hours of courses that were online, paid by my job. And then I was under supervision of someone who was licensed and a higher license of strictly around chemical dependency work. So the license that I hold now is a licensed chemical dependency counselor 3. And the reason that I can't be an independent license is because my degree only permits me to get it to a 3, because I did not do a social work or a counseling field. So I found that out, and that was fun. But it took me about 4 years of educational work, just because I was able to do it in the facility that I was working at and in the role I was. And I had an amazing supervisor who was a licensed social worker. So educational background does matter, is what I'm seeing when it comes to licenses. But usually what you're going to find a lot is the chemical dependency counselor assistant is usually the one you start with. Because it's kind of getting your feet wet, and then you're working your way up towards something higher in that work. Again, I'm not a mental health counselor, so that's a different route that you would have to take with that, with different licensures and education requirements. I'm also a peer support certified supervisor, which means that individuals who get a peer support certificate, these are people who use their lived experience in their life, either with a trauma, mental health, or addiction, and walk beside someone on their path to recovery. I'm a supervisor that way, so it's another certification you can always look at getting, and that's a 40-hour course, again with a test at the end. Yeah, both these had tests. I should probably throw that out there. Some people get test anxiety. But I'm trying to think what other. I am certified in a lot of different group facilitations. It really depends what type of work you choose to do and what your company is going to support.
Right.
I've been very fortunate to have the jobs that I have that have really invested in my education outside of college. I wish I probably would have had more of an understanding of what it meant to like go to college and look at courses to take, and how those are going to like impact then choices that you can have in a career. Because I said, like, I had no idea that my licensed to be a chemical dependency counselor, I couldn't go for my independent license because my education stopped me. So that's something I learned in the career field. But I also probably didn't take enough opportunities that I recognize too. So I could take some accountability on that one. When you're in high school, you're just trying to get to college sometimes, and I could have done better on that one. I remember, like, I really enjoyed high school, so I do. I look back and I enjoyed my high school experiences, and my teachers were great. So it's, as I said, it was me limiting that one and not really taking a dive in on the resources that were available.
Thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Joust About Careers podcast. I hope you learned valuable information from this career story, and to be sure you don't miss upcoming episodes, please click subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform so you'll know when the next episode is released. Thank you for watching, and as always, this is the place to go to learn just about careers.